Thank you for your hard work today. Welcome to the Book Summary Library. This is Lena. This channel will bring you useful learning when you want to take a break from your busy days, or when you have a little free time. Please listen while relaxing. The book I'm going to talk about today is the famous book, The Science of Entrepreneurship, which anyone involved in startups has probably heard of at least once. The author is Masayuki Tadokoro. This book has influenced entrepreneurs not only in Japan but all over the world. In particular, it gives a direct answer to the question, what is needed to make a startup successful? Some of you may be wondering, what is a startup? A startup is a new company that tries to grow rapidly with innovative ideas and technologies as its weapons. For example, Uber and Airbnb, which you often use, also started as small startups. But it's not enough to just start something new. The key to the success of a startup is product market fit. It's a bit of a difficult term, but it refers to the state in which you are able to provide products and services that the market really wants. For example, no matter how delicious your ramen is, if there is no one who wants to eat it, it won't sell, right? It's the same with startups. It's important to find and provide what customers really need, rather than making what you want to make. The Science of Entrepreneurship explains in detail the mindset and strategies for startups to succeed in this way, in concrete steps. Let's learn at a leisurely pace with Lena. I'm sure that by the time you finish listening, you'll feel excited and think, I see. Maybe I can start a business with this. So, let's get started. Please listen slowly and relax. 1. What is a good idea? Well, everyone, when you start a business, the first thing that comes to mind is, what kind of idea should I compete with? But what do you think is a good idea? If you think something that everyone absolutely wants, that might be a bit dangerous. Here, the science of entrepreneurship teaches us that it is important to focus ideas on the problem. For example, let's say your friend is complaining, I want to lose weight, but I don't want to exercise. At such times, you might think, well, let's make a supplement that makes you lose weight just by drinking it. However, if that's all you have, there's a high chance that people will question, does that supplement really work? Because the essence of the problem of wanting to lose weight is wanting to have an ideal body shape in a healthy way. A good idea is one that solves the real problem that someone is facing. For example, how about an idea like creating a fitness app for people who don't like exercise, which allows them to exercise while having fun like a game? People who say, I'm not good at exercise, but I'd like to try a game, might jump at it. In The Science of Entrepreneurship, this is called clarifying the problem. Just like how delicious ramen won't sell if no one wants to eat it, no matter how great your technology is, if you can't see the problem that needs to be solved, it's difficult to succeed. And another important thing is that ideas that everyone can think of are disadvantageous because there is a lot of competition. For example, if you try to start a miso ramen shop in Hokkaido, there are already many strong rivals, right? Instead, finding a hidden problem that no one has tackled yet is perfect for startups. For example, how about an AI pet camera that relieves anxiety while your pet is at home, or an app that automatically creates a week's menu and shopping list for people who are busy at work? If there are many people who want that, but there is still little competition, the chances of success will increase dramatically. When you think of an idea, don't forget to ask yourself, what problem do you really want to solve, and try to find it. I'm sure there are hidden opportunities around you that no one has noticed yet. 2. 3 things you should never do in a startup. When you start a business, you get carried away and want to do a lot of things. But to succeed in a startup, there are 3 pitfalls you should absolutely avoid. The Science of Entrepreneurship explains these in a very easy-to-understand way. Let's take a look together. First, don't make a business plan that is too detailed. You have to make a good business plan. I understand that you may be enthusiastic about your business, but in the case of startups, It is dangerous to make a business plan that is too detailed from the beginning. This is because the direction of your business will change rapidly based on feedback from your customers. For example, let's say you are starting a ramen shop and you make a detailed plan, such as, I will sell 100 bowls a day, and I will make a profit in 3 months. However, when you open the shop, customers praise you, saying, the char siu rice bowl is more delicious than the ramen. If you continue to sell only ramen as planned, you will miss out on a great opportunity. In startups, it is best to jumpstart. As you move forward, listen to the voices of your customers and continue to revise your direction. Such flexibility is the key to success. Second point. Don't include too many features from the beginning. The next thing to be careful of is not to try to pack too many features into your product or service from the beginning. The important thing in the early stages of a startup is, can it solve the customer's problems? That's all there is to it. For example, let's say you developed an automatic ordering app for a cafe. You may be tempted to add a lot of features, such as, let's add a seat reservation function, or let's add a function to choose the store's background music. However, for the first step, a simple function such as being able to order coffee smoothly is enough. If you add too many features from the beginning, it will cost more and take more time to develop, and customers may be confused and ask, what is the convenience after all? It is important to first focus on the really necessary functions and provide them simply. Third, don't put too much effort into advertising and PR in the early stages. Finally, don't spend too much money and time on advertising and PR in the early stages of a startup. If you advertise your product before it is complete, if there are any problems or complaints, bad word of mouth may spread. For example, when you release a new app, if the first user tweets on social media that it is difficult to use, that impression will remain forever. It is important to have a small number of customers use it at first, gather feedback, and polish the product. If you are a ramen shop, you should first have your friends and acquaintances try it and collect their opinions, such as, how does the soup taste, and should the char siu be softer? In this way, let's make it better little by little. Everyone, be careful of these 3 pitfalls and grow your startup flexibly, simply, and steadily. 3. Timing is everything for startups. Now, next I'd like to talk about the timing that is essential for a startup to succeed. In The Science of Entrepreneurship, it teaches that timing is the biggest key to success. Even if you have a good idea and a great product, if the timing is not right, it will all go down the drain. For example, do you remember the old flip phones? They had lots of buttons, were foldable, and had small screens. But what would have happened if a smartphone with touch panel operation had been released in that era? The technology had not yet caught up, so the battery would have run out quickly, the screen would have been unresponsive, and it would have been unpopular as difficult to use. On the other hand, what if smartphones had appeared too late? There would have been more competition, and it might have been difficult to beat big companies like Apple and Samsung. The key to determining the timing is to ask yourself, why do you want to execute this idea now? The question is whether you can answer this question. For example, with the recent increase in remote work, online meeting tools have become popular all at once. If Zoom had appeared 10 years ago, it may not have become so popular. How to determine the best timing? So how do you find the best timing? The Science of Entrepreneurship recommends looking at areas where evolution has stopped. In other words, there are opportunities in things that people continue to use despite finding them inconvenient. For example, Excel. It has hardly evolved in the last 20 years, has it? It is a useful spreadsheet software, but there must be many people who think, I want to edit it with multiple people at the same time. That's where Google Spreadsheets came in. By adding a function that allows everyone to edit in real time, it fulfilled the need of, I wanted this, and was successful. Lena has also been using Google Spreadsheets recently when planning trips with friends. It's fun to write things like, I want to go here, and how about this hotel, and make plans together. Examples of bad timing. On the other hand, there are also cases where a business fails if the timing is not right. For example, the smart refrigerator. It is a convenient product that allows you to check the contents of the refrigerator on your smartphone and suggests recipes, but when it first came out, it was too expensive and did not catch on. The technology and cost were not right. However, now that IoT technology has evolved, smart home appliances are increasing in number. If you can time it well and put it on the market again, it could be a big hit. Before you put your idea into action, take a moment to think, is this idea needed now? There are surely opportunities hidden in areas where evolution has stopped or in places where people feel inconvenienced. 4. The importance of setting personas and customer journeys. Next, I'd like to talk about personas and customer journeys, which are important for startups. These are powerful tools for finding out what customers really want. It may sound difficult, but let's learn about it slowly with Lena. Relax and listen. A persona is the ideal customer image of a product or service. For example, let's say you're making a new fitness app. Instead of just thinking about men and women in their 20s to 40s, imagine it more specifically. For example, a 28-year-old office lady named Sakura. She's too busy with work to go to the gym, but she wants to maintain a healthy body. Her hobby is visiting cafes, and she likes posting stylish photos on Instagram. Thinking specifically like this will help you see the service Sakura really wants. When creating a persona, try to set the details, such as age, gender, occupation, hobbies, and lifestyle. It's fun to create it if you think of your friends. This will make it clear who you should make your product or service for. Next, I'll talk about the customer journey. The customer journey describes the flow and feelings of a persona from learning about a product or service to purchasing it and continuing to use it. For example, let's think about the process that Sakura goes through from finding a fitness app to actually using it. First, she sees a friend introducing the app on social media and thinks, this looks good. Next, she downloads the app and feels, it's easy to use and easy to continue. After using it for a week, you'll be happy to find that your body may have become a little toned, and you'll develop the habit of using it every day. In this way, by thinking specifically about how Sakura feels and acts, you can see where they are likely to get stuck and what kind of support they need. By considering the customer journey, you can create a service that is in tune with the feelings of your customers. For example, you could display a how-to-use guide when the app is first launched, or send an encouraging message saying, you did well, after a week of continued use. Such ideas make customers feel that this app understands me and become fans. In the early stages of a startup, it is more important to have a specific person strongly empathize with you and say, this is what I wanted, than to be liked by a lot of people. That's why carefully thinking about personas and customer journeys will bring you one step closer to the success of your startup. When you create a persona, enjoy it as if you were creating a character. And imagine with excitement how that person would use your product. 5. The importance of listening to and verifying customer opinions directly. So far, we've talked about personas and customer journeys, but don't be satisfied with just that. To succeed in startups, it's important to actually listen to customers' voices and verify whether your hypotheses are really correct. Let's look at the key points of customer interviews with Lena. For example, let's say you're thinking of an online cooking class service. You're excited to think, if there was a service that even busy people could easily learn to cook, they would definitely be happy. But is that really what customers want? Here, interview friends, acquaintances, and if possible, complete strangers. In interviews, try to ask open questions rather than questions that can be answered with yes or no. For example, try asking, what are you having trouble with when you cook on a daily basis? or why don't you want to go to a cooking class? By allowing the other person to speak freely, you may be able to hear their true feelings. Lena also once asked a friend, "Why don't you want to go to a cooking class?" And she replied, "It's a hassle to go to the place, and the time doesn't suit me." When she dug deeper, she found that people had problems like, "It's fine if it's online, but it's difficult to ask questions to the teacher," and "It's difficult to buy all the ingredients for cooking." By listening to these real voices, she realized that people don't want just an online cooking class, but rather a service that delivers ingredients to your home and allows you to easily interact with the teacher. When interviewing, it is important to create an atmosphere where the other person feels comfortable talking. It is sometimes effective to wait in silence for a while, rather than trying to force an answer. When people are silent for a long time, they tend to start talking about various things. Also, pay attention to the other person's facial expressions, gestures, and tone of voice. Even if they say, "I'm not particularly troubled," if they frown a little or sigh, the real problem may be hidden there. The Science of Entrepreneurship recommends interviewing at least 20 people. By talking to many people, you can see common issues and needs. You might think, it seems a bit difficult, but when Rena actually tries it, she discovers something new every time, and it's fun. You should also gather a lot of real customer feedback and polish your services and products. I'm sure you will find true needs that you couldn't see before. 6. A rough solution is not enough. Think about the user experience. Now that you have an idea and have listened carefully to what your customers have to say, it's time to think about a solution. But a solution that just solves the problem is not enough. For a startup to succeed, it's very important to think carefully about the user experience. You may have heard the term user experience, or UX for short. This refers to all the experiences that customers have when using a product or service. For example, when you go to eat delicious ramen, not only the ramen itself is delicious, but also the smile of the staff, the atmosphere of the store, the length of the wait time, and so on. All of these things are part of the experience of the ramen shop. So how should we think about this user experience in the world of startups? For example, let's say you've developed a new task management app. In customer interviews, you find that customers want to manage their work tasks efficiently, so you create a feature that makes it easy to list tasks. However, when they use the app, they may complain that the screen is cluttered and difficult to read, or that the operation is complicated and stressful. In such cases, it's important to think not just about the function of listing tasks, but also about how customers feel when using the app. For example, what if you simplified the operation and displayed an encouraging message saying, "Good job," when a task is completed? It would give you a sense of accomplishment and make work more fun, wouldn't it? Lena has also been using a fitness app recently, and every time she finishes exercising, a kind message appears saying, "You did a great job today." Just hearing that one word makes her feel like, "Let's work hard tomorrow too." This is the power of user experience. In The Science of Entrepreneurship, it teaches that when thinking about solutions, it is important to clearly imagine in what situations customers will use the app and how they will feel. For example, if you use the app on your commute, you can make it easy to operate with one hand, or if you use it at night, you can make it a dark mode that is easy on the eyes. And it's not over just creating it. Have your customers actually use the solution you created and gather feedback. By listening to real voices such as, "Which part did you find difficult to use?" and "What points would you like to see improved?" and making repeated improvements, you can create the best user experience. Everyone, please think carefully about what kind of experience your service or product provides to your customers. Small ideas can lead to big impressions. 7. The importance of polishing with a prototype. So, up to this point, you have shaped your idea and carefully considered the user experience. The next step is to create a prototype and actually polish it. Doesn't that sound exciting? Let's take a closer look with Lena. A prototype is a trial model of a product or service. It doesn't have to be perfect at first. In fact, it's better to start with something simple. For example, if you are trying to create a new cooking recipe app, even just hand drawing the screen design on paper and checking the flow of tapping here to move to the next screen is a fine prototype. The science of entrepreneurship teaches that the first prototype is enough as a paper prototype. Just simulating the movement with a hand-drawn sketch can reveal many problems and areas for improvement. The important thing about a prototype is to actually have customers use it and get feedback. Rather than worrying about creating a prototype by yourself, it is much faster to show it to others and get their opinions early on. Even if you are told this part is no good at all, it's okay. Prototypes are for learning by failing, so you can just keep making corrections. For example, if you are thinking of a new cafe service, invite your friends to actually enjoy shisha. Ask them for their feedback, such as, what do you think of the scent, and is the atmosphere of the shop relaxing, and gradually polish your service. Every time you get feedback, you feel motivated to make it even better. And once the prototype starts to take shape, the next step is to actually get people to pay for it. For example, it's a good idea to run a campaign like, you can try it for half price for the first time only. Whether customers are willing to actually pay for it will be the touchstone for whether the service is truly worth it. Don't worry, everyone is nervous at first. But if you create a prototype and polish it little by little, I'm sure it will become a great service. Let's take it one step at a time. Rena is rooting for you. 8. How to achieve and confirm product market fit. Now, let's finally talk about product market fit, which is essential for startup success. Product market fit sounds difficult because it's all in katakana, but let's take a moment to understand it together with Rena. Product market fit is a state in which you are able to provide products and services that the market really wants. Simply put, it's a state in which customers feel, this is amazing. I want to use it forever. For example, Line and Instagram, which we all use often, were a constant source of trial and error at first, but now they have become indispensable to many people. So how can you achieve product market fit? The science of entrepreneurship teaches that the key to this is to find customer enthusiasm. The key is whether or not you have customers who are enthusiastic about your product. For example, let's say you've opened a new parfait specialty store. After customers try it, if they say, I want to eat this every day, or I'll definitely tell my friends about it, that's a sign of enthusiasm. But if they respond, it was delicious, but it's just average, there's still room for improvement. One effective way to check product market fit is to ask customers who have actually used the service, how much of a hassle would it be if you could no longer use this service? If many of them answer, it would be a huge hassle, you're getting closer to product market fit. On the other hand, if they say, I don't really need it, try digging deeper into your customers' needs again. When Rena was thinking of a new menu for a cafe, she asked customers, what do you think of this new drink? And they responded, it's delicious, but maybe it's not special. So she topped it with colorful flower petals to make them happy and say, it looks good on Instagram. Then, they became crazy and said, I want to take a picture of this and show it to my friends. Product market fit is not something that can be achieved perfectly from the beginning. It is important to make repeated improvements and find the point that makes customers think, this is it. And once you find that point, polish it thoroughly. I hope you all find a customer who is crazy about your service or product. That enthusiasm will be your guide to the success of your startup. Let's take our time and move forward slowly. Final summary. Thank you so much for learning with me so far. I've talked about various steps and ways of thinking to lead your startup to success. Let's look back at each one. First, we started with a discussion of what a good idea is. The important thing is not just an interesting idea, but an idea that solves a real problem. We also learned that when thinking of ideas, it is important to clearly draw a persona or an ideal customer image. Like Sakura, imagining it specifically will make the service more customer-oriented. Next, we looked at 3 pitfalls that startups absolutely must avoid. A business plan that is too detailed, too many features, and excessive advertising in the early stages are dangerous. The shortcut to success is to proceed flexibly, simply, and steadily. Timing was also very important. No matter how great an idea is, if it is launched too early or too late, it may not work. You can find opportunities by looking at areas where evolution has stalled or areas where people feel that something is a little inconvenient. We also talked about the importance of listening to customer feedback and repeatedly making improvements with prototypes. By having customers actually try it out and accumulating small feedback, the best user experience is created. Finally, I told you that finding product market fit, or what the market really wants, is the key to a successful startup. If you can make use of what you've learned so far, your ideas will take shape and become services and products that will please many people. You may feel anxious or unsure at first, but it's okay. Just take it one step at a time. Lena is always cheering you on. You did a really good job today. Thank you for listening to this far. I hope your dreams and ideas will become a wonderful startup that will brighten the future. You will definitely succeed, so believe in yourself and move forward. This book summary library channel aims to be the best book explanation library in Japan and the world, and delivers learning that will support your future. If this video was even a little bit helpful, please support us by subscribing to the channel, liking, and commenting. Requests like, "I want you to explain this book," are also very welcome. May your days shine even more. Lena is always by your side, cheering you on.